We are looking at, what transpired. The investigation is still underway into the cause of the incident at this point. Again, to reiterate, we heard that 12 of the 74 bodies that had been recovered are identifiable. 62 remain unidentifiable. To date, we're also seeing scores of people returning to the building. They want to see what they can salvage, any of their belongings, perhaps also looking at those who have been traumatized, what psychosocial help is on support. The inner city's got businesses that's operating there. It follows on the back of the Joburg the gas explosion that also occurred just over a month ago. So we want to understand how this incident, this Joburg Inferno, has affected business operators within the vicinity of the fire. For this conversation, we're going to be joined by the former president of the Johannesburg Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Herman Breedt. Herman, good afternoon. Thank you for your time with us here on the SABC.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for allowing me to be here.
Well, thank you for being part of the conversation. We're putting the pieces of the puzzle together and assessing the ripple effects. We're still awaiting disaster management's response in terms of where to from here. And so the fire that just happened follows the gas explosion a month ago. As businesses, how concerned are you at this point about the safety of businesses in the CBD, the ripple effects that also obviously are set to hit the economy at large?
Well, we are very, very concerned about this. It was already in the international press yesterday, New York Times, and so forth. It's out there in the world, and obviously we are very, very concerned about this. It will affect business in South Africa. It will have an effect on how people look at business in South Africa. We have delegations coming into the country. The JCCI is a point of entry for embassies to make contact with us, to meet in Johannesburg with us, and to have a look and see what the country can offer. So this has got a very negative impact on business in South Africa at large.
No, absolutely. So at this point, what is the best way to manage those perceptions, to salvage the situation at hand?
We must blame the politicians for what we have here. And we will have to get it out there that we will, as businesses in South Africa, take hands off the politicians and to try and rectify what is wrong in the inner city and out there in the bigger of the Gauteng area. We know for years that the CBD is not what it's supposed to be. Buildings have been hijacked. There's no water. There's no electricity. There's no sanitation. We will have to rectify that. We cannot keep the business delegations out of the CBD when they come and visit us and just say that everything is okay and everything is working, because it is not. So we don't want to sit on the side and just blame the politicians, but we'll have to take hands and make sure that we rectify what is wrong. But there will have to be a political will to ensure that businesses will be allowed to make a difference.
Well, the Johannesburg Property Association and some of the investors involved in the inner rejuvenation of the CBD have accused the Metro of, failing to respond to their pleas to fix the unstable infrastructure. And so the next question, I think, that follows that really looks at the future. What's at stake here? We obviously need the will, as you alluded to prosecute the hijackers. We need to look at the systemic issues, the upgrades that are also needed. What does this future look like?
Very bleak. And I said that I will do this interview if I'm allowed to be open, blunt, direct, and objective. The city of Johannesburg is in shambles. And we cannot, from the business side, say that we're proud of the state of affairs. We are not. So, gone are the days where we're just going to have meetings and try and rectify issues or wrongdoings. We'll have to sit with the politicians and we'll have to try and rectify what is wrong, even if we have to, from business side, involve some funding, I'm sure that businesses will be able to do that and will gladly support anything that we can do to rectify the current situation. I've heard on the news last night that, we want to have this commission and this committee and this and that, whatever. We don't need that. Politicians must get out of their offices, out their bodyguards, go into the CBD, walk there without security guards, and see what South Africans have to live with. As well as illegal immigrants, what is the situation? We know what the situation is. We had Pat Corbyn as the chairperson of the Johannesburg Property Corporation, but we could not change anything. There was no political will to change anything and to better the situation. But this must stop here and now.
Well, we obviously also have to look at the immediate plans to assist those businesses in the short term, perhaps to help them get back on their feet in the wake of what's transpired. But Herman, thank you for your time with us on the SABC and for those sentiments. Herman Breedt is the former president of the Johannesburg Chamber of Commerce and Industry, looking at the impact that this Joburg inferno obviously is going to have on the businesses operating within the vicinity. It follows about a month or so after the gas explosion that also affected some of the inner parts of the inner city.